Hello everybody and welcome to Fast Fridays presented by Maconi Setup Shop. Last week we raced under the lights of Charlotte in the NASCAR trucks. Well, you voted and we are staying in those same NASCAR trucks but headed to the old bumpy Daytona scan from 2008. Strap those virtual belts down snug, grip the wheel tight, and get ready for 50 laps of racing. For those of you who haven't joined us before, Fast Fridays is a weekly series by Maconi Setup Shop featuring a varying car and track combination that is completely free to take part in. Yes, I said free to come and race right here in the broadcasted race. And remember, folks, you get to help decide the car and track combination every week by voting on the Maconi Setup Shop social media pages, so make sure to go follow along and vote for what you want to see next. My name is Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth is Jake Reeves. Ryan Bauer working the controls as our producer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Jake, pretty much everybody is familiar with the super speedway known as Daytona down in Florida, but this is the old 2008 bumpy scan. What are we going to expect to see?
Well, we're going to expect to see a lot of side-by-side hard racing with these guys. These guys going to be bouncing around all over the track. You know, some of the newer viewers, I guess you could say the younger viewers, would see Daytona was really, really smooth the way that it is today. But back then, this is the older style, I guess you could say, back before the Juan Pablo Montoya accident where he hit the jet dryer. This is what the track that they raced on. It was very, very bumpy. These cars very, very hard to handle. So it's not all about speed. Here for this particular race. It's all going to be about the handling of the trucks, and these guys are going to have to be able to keep the truck up under them, not let it bottom out, not let it shoot up the racetrack, get loose, or what have you. And also going to be going over 185 miles an hour, 2 and 3 wide, sometimes even 4 wide. I'm telling you, Joey, these guys right here, these guys are going to have their hands full for this race.
Well, what they're going to be doing out there is 50 laps or 1 hour on the clock, so can't really go over that 1 hour time limit. One fast repair is available to all of the competitors out there. Don't try to use it too early. You never want to get damage on your race truck. And we also have 3 GWC attempts. That stands for green, white, checkered attempts in case we have a late race yellow. But remember, we still have that timer, so it kind of flip-flops between the two. And as always here on Fast Fridays, we have the custom fix setup by Maconi Setup Shop. And if you're curious about any of that stuff, make sure to go over and hit that website, www.maconisetupshop.com. They're the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event promotion. Even more on the iRacing service. They have subscriptions available as low as $8 a month, and something that I know is extremely exciting, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. So make sure to go on over to that website, find the car that you like driving the most, get one of those subscriptions, and trust me, all of a sudden, you'll be watching your lap times drop out there on the service. And it looks like, Jake, we've pretty much got our starting grid lined up, gridded up on pit road over here, and our pole sitter is the number 74 of Brandon Edstrom. Joining him is going to be Dalton Schrum on the front row. Anthony Carter in the number 26 is in third place. Mike Petrin in fourth. Ryan Andrew and Todd Robbins are going to make up row number 3. Vincent Guetti and Hugh Linkhauser on row number 4. Dale Flowers in the 9th place position, and Gary Flynn in 10th.
And then you got Dustin Grigg. He's going to be in that 11th spot with Alberto Abar in 12th. Gavin McCool will be 13th. Jermaine Vines will be in that 14th spot. Will Shack will be 15th. Daniel Kikeel will be 16th. The boss man, Jeffrey Maconi, going to be 17th. Austin Summers will be 18th. Corey Rainey will be 19th. And rounding out the top 20 will be Jake Buchanan.
Then in the 21st position here, we have Ryan Fisher, followed up with Joey Masevich in 22nd. Paul Hill, 23rd. DJ Thomas in 24th. Shane Ferguson, 25th. Jamie Johnson in 26th. Brandon Evans, who's going to be providing us some great onboard shots today, in the 27th starting spot. Brandon Maciejewski in 28th. And then a few more. Garrett Pick back here in 29th. Stephen Hendren in 30th. And I know that we have a handful more cars here that are going to be on the starting grid as we'll get through them. Take a look at the weather. It's a nice, cool day at Daytona. And Jake, they're coming into turn 3 here real fast. What are you expecting to see from these trucks and the bumpy scan in the first 10 laps?
Hopefully, well, honestly, what I'm really wanting to see is some green flag racing right here, Joey. But we see this a lot with some of these plate races, especially within the first 5 laps, 3 to 5 laps. We see a big wreck. So hopefully we don't see that right here. Hopefully we see some good, hard racing for the whole race.
Well, we are about to find out. The number 74, Brandon Edstrom, has the green flag, stands on the gas, and we are racing at Fast Fridays at Daytona International Speedway.
And Edstrom's going to look like he's going to jump to the top, try to see if he can block the advance of Mike Petrin. Now he's going to jump back down to the bottom with Anthony Carter and Ryan Andrew.
Already a wreck
in the back, and a big wreck already at the start of the race.
Yeah, that was just caused, I believe that was the 87, and this is the big one before we even get rolling. Look at this. Oh, still heavy impacts there. I think that's the number 48, or at least painted as the Pennzoil 48 back there. But Jake, this all started, at least from what I saw, about the 4th or 5th row here in turn 2.
And it's just really, really tight. You know, he looks like 43 right there on your screen, looks like he made a desperate move, wanted to go low and then tried to jump back up. Didn't really know if he wanted to go down there or not, and then stacked the whole inside lane up. And then from there on, everybody just gets stacked up. You get one hit another one hit another one, and then from there on, it's game over. You see right there, he didn't know if he wanted to stay down there, stacked everybody up. Nowhere for the 48 to go. He gets into the 37, and then chaos right behind him.
Well, I didn't know that we were going to see the big one. so early. I mean, Jake, we didn't even get a full mile of racing yet.
Well, I mean, we've seen, races like this happen in the past, Joey. We've seen them, recently at Atlanta, where, we would maybe get one lap in. Granted, Atlanta 1.5 miles, Daytona 2.5 miles. So, I mean, a little bit bigger of a track, but I don't know. I guess everybody's just kind of got them butterflies, I guess you could say. I mean, it is Daytona, Joey. So, I mean, I guess that's probably what's got a little bit right here, especially with the bumpy surface on the track. It's got a lot to play into that accident right there.
I'm trying to figure out who exactly was in that 43. And I don't expect very many cars to come down pit road here. And if they do, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be fixing damage that they had picked up from that wreck here. So I expect everybody to come down pit road here. Jake, don't you agree? The only reason right now to come down pit road is to get damage fixed that if you pick some up in that accident.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you want to come down and get that damage fixed. Obviously, you do have that fast repair that you talked about, Joey, but very unfortunate that you use it this early in the race. Now, you've got to go so long without that fast repair. Your main goal now, if you are burning that fast repair, is just to make sure that your truck is completely clean, and you got to be able to make it to the end of the race. These other guys that's got that fast repair, they can be aggressive, they can do whatever they need to do, but for a good portion, maybe over half the field right here, already burning through that fast repair, that's going to be real detrimental, I guess you could say, to their chances of trying to win this race.
Think of it kind of like a lifeline, folks, and if you use your lifeline too early, well, you don't have it there for you at the end of the race when you need it, and that's what you're going to do here at Daytona. And sometimes when you're trying to save that lifeline, you'll have the crew hop over the wall and fix whatever damage they can get done without using that fast repair, because honestly, the pace laps, the yellow flag laps at Daytona here, are quite long, minute and a half plus in length. So that's plenty of time to have your virtual crew hop over the wall, get some of that damage fixed up, and then save that lifeline, that fast repair for when you actually need it. Well, looks like we're going to be going back to green flag racing here. Ending lap number 3 at Daytona. It's still Brandon Edstrom, our original pole sitter. He's going to stand on the gas, row up through the gears. We're going to be racing one more time here at Fast Fridays. A little bit more of a mellow start. I'm seeing the 77 of John Kea kind of poke his nose, try to make it 3 wide. Also the 20 back here giving some pushes, but the front 7 seem to be well-mannered. Then it gets a little bit busy, and look at those trucks really starting to bounce around.
Bouncing around like a basketball, Joey, is exactly what they're doing, and everybody trying to force their way up in that top lane. You see Hullenkhauser up there. Here comes Ryan Andrew, one of the big dogs, I guess you could say, for fixed setups. And Ryan Andrew all the way down to the bottom. He's going to lead the inside train as we speak. Big time move by Ryan Andrew, as he looks like he's going to lead this lap.
He indeed does. Leader number 88 of Ryan Andrew, but now the top side of Daytona really carrying the top speed, the momentum around that high lane. But look at how shaky Hullenkhauser is on that bumper. It's not necessarily that Hewling is moving around, but this track is so bumpy. It is very different than what the competitors are used to racing when they just go to Daytona. Look at this, the 77 trying to make it 3 wide. I've been noticing this white and red 77 about 8th place or so, 10th place, and he has been showing the nose in all sorts of areas and getting some good shots from the rig inside of Jeff Maconi's place.
And Maconi sitting there running right with Hullenkhauser, right there in that outside lane, trying to see if they can advance Anthony Carter on that outside. And you know, Joey, you talked about it right there with Harlan Cowser bouncing around and everything. It's not him, it's just the track. It's just how he is with the track and everything. And you know that's got to be a big scare, I guess you could say, for Anthony Carter being right there, the front guy in all of this. You know, he's got to be shaking a little bit seeing all of it, but Maconi has had enough of it. He's gonna shoot the middle 3 wide. Maconi goes all the way to the middle, and we got a ring.
Yeah, unfortunately, he made contact with the outside car, and we have a giant one. Not a big one, but a giant one here going through turns 3 and 4. At Daytona, that was all up at the front and just a little bit of ghost contact, a little bit of side-by-side rubbing, but ultimately it was 3 wide racing here on lap number 6 that causes a yellow flag.
And, you know, I hate to say it, I mean, even though he is the boss man, I mean, really, really early to be making those 3 wide moves, especially with this bumpy of a track. But Jeff tried to slide it in there, tried to make it stick, and he made it stick from what it looked like. Actually, for me, it actually looked like that the 26 of Anthony Carter, looked like Anthony Carter kind of came down on top of Jeff. And that's what stacked everybody up, and Jeff able to get through it. But you see the calamity of everybody else getting stacked up behind it. Just a huge, huge pileup.
Yes, I agree with you in some of the sense here. Riding on board with Hugh and Cowser, just, does he squeak through? Just barely is able to get through that one. I agree with your first point, though, there, Jake. I think that lap number 6, deciding to go up through the middle, yeah, it's a little bit of an aggressive move, and unfortunately, going into turn number 3, I just think that it got really narrow. I don't think that this is a malicious accident by any means. It's just really bumpy. They got to door banging really on both sides of the truck, and you see the result.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can't really fault either one of them. I mean, Jeff made an aggressive move. He stuck it in the middle. And with the 26 came down on Jeff. So, honestly, both drivers are at fault in a sense. I mean, granted, you can go 3 wide here at Daytona. We've seen it over and over again. You know, and I mentioned it in the pre-race. You can go 4 wide here as well. So, but, you know, that early, I guess you could say this early in the race, making that aggressive of a move, you know, Jeff maybe thought that it was going to work. And honestly, I think the 26, honestly, Anthony Carter, I just think that he just didn't expect it just because it happened so quick. And you just, with all the handling that these trucks is having, bouncing around this and that, it just kind of just threw him off, and he just wasn't expecting Jeff to make that move. And that's just why Anthony Carter just kind of came down right there on Jeff. I think that's exactly what it was. It was no harm, no foul, but we talk about all the time plate racing. One guy's mistakes, one guy makes one mistake, it ends up costing the whole field.
Got the number 69 of Todd Robbins stopped on the racetrack right now. Report back in, see if we got any more information with you on that one, but looks like he's having a few issues, whether that be with the race car itself or maybe some even hardware issues that can happen to your own rig. I know that, you know, it may sound funny, in real world racing there's plenty of mechanical failures. You know, you have to rely on your entire team, your entire crew to get the race car out to the racetrack and then also perform. You know, you're used to seeing engine failures and all sorts of stuff. Well, here in the virtual world, we also have equipment failures of our own sort. A lot of times you'll have wheel disconnections or even hardware failures where the session will discommunicate basically from the internet, and there's all sorts of stuff that these virtual racers also have to deal with.
And it could be the one thing right there that you didn't mention, Joey, and you know, a lot of people may be thinking this as well as I am, but you never know. Nature may have called for him, and he may have had to go take a leak or something. That might have been what we have seen. I've seen that in official races that I have been in, where guys have just pulled down to the bottom of the track. Hey, look, I'll be back. I got to go use the restroom or whatever. And then they just jump back in there and then they just start the tail of the field. So that could have been a little bit to do with it, but it could have been hardware. It could have been his wheel may have disconnected. Any of those reasons could have been the reason. But we do see the 69 Todd Robbins looks like he's going to try to jump back up here and see if he can blend back in somewhere in this field as we get ready for this restart.
Now, Jake, I've heard of a pit stop to put more fuel in the tank, but that was a new one for me. And you know, I'm going to leave it up to these guys here in iRacing because I don't blame them. I see what you're saying. And yeah, when you got a yellow flag lap that's as long as Daytona and the bathroom is literally right next door to the rig, I can see that being happening, and it's very possible. That's an amusing one.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. I mean, that's the way I've always looked at it. I mean, you gotta go, and that might have been the deal right there with Todd Robbins, but he was able to get it wound back up, get his truck back in line, and Joey, we're getting ready for another restart.
That we are coming to lap 10 here at Fast Fridays. We'll see if we can log a few green flag laps because Barney is waving that color flag in the air. We are racing once again here at Daytona International Speedway. It's Ryan Andrew with some help from Brandon Edstrom, our original pole sitter on the bottom, getting a good push, and it's Jeff Maconi getting pushed by Hewling Kauser on the top lane. But as these trucks get up to speed on lap number 1, it's really going to come in the form of the organization down the back straightaway. Here we go.
And not a lot of help on the top, but Jeff Maconi and Hewling Kauser are going to make it work with just 2 trucks up on the top. You see all the help down on the bottom, but 2 trucks are trying to make it to the front right here. But now the run will stall out. Ryan Andrew and Brandon Edstrom, they're going to roar back on the inside. Now the outside starts to get a little bit of help as here comes Maconi back on the outside lane with help from Hewling Kauser.
Crucially, it was Ryan Andrew that led the lap, so it's all about who gets to the start-finish line first when we're thinking about that checkered flag. And I gotta say, the 77, so close to contact back here in the pack. With this bumpy track, Jake, I know that we're still early in the race. We've already had 2 yellow flags, but it looks like these drivers are on full-on rage mode out here. They don't care how bumpy it is. They are going for it no matter what.
They're going for it, and they know why, Joey. It is Fast Fridays here on Maconi Entertainment. That's exactly why. As we got a lap truck these guys are starting to catch. This could really play into the factor for some of these guys. Bottom lane has to ease down just a little bit, give this top lane some room. But now Jeffrey Maconi, Hewling Kauser on the outside lane starting to roll. And check this out, Brandon Evans in the 39 truck started 27th all the way up to 4th. Now battling for 3rd with his teammate Ryan Andrew. We will see what will happen as they go down this long back straightaway as you're riding on board with Brandon Evans. And you're going to see it right here, Joey, and everybody at home. When they go into this corner, how bumpy this track is, you're going to see how much it's jarring him. And you can see right there as he's holding onto the wheel, his whole rig is literally shaking so bad. That's how bumpy this track is. But Brandon Evans starting to make it work as he is actually going to start to challenge Jeff Maconi for the lead as they get ready to go into turn number 1.
Exciting racing here at Fast Friday. Every week we put on this type of show, so if you love what you're seeing right now, make sure to tune us in every single Friday afternoon because we are doing this every single week out here on Maconi Entertainment. Side by side, it's up to Jeff Maconi getting the push from Hewling Kauser. Ryan Andrew in the top lane trying to make it work, and look at how bumpy it is. I think that's going to be the story of today, is how all of these trucks handle the bumps. And as they get so close coming up out of turn 4, you really have to time your bump drafting right because, there we go. That's a product of it. We got a wreck right here. That's the number 76 around in the tri-oval. What I've been noticing, Jake, is a lot of these trucks, they're just trying to get a little bit of clean vision with how many bumps are going on in the tri-oval. A little bit of a variable, a little bit of a sweeping corner that can catch people out.
Absolutely, and I just saw that right there. I'm not even really sure, honestly, Joey, if that was net code or if he just straight up lost it right there. I mean, the 77 never touched the 76 right there. Just swept up the track just a little bit. And then all of a sudden, 76 going straight around. I'm not sure what that was all about. I mean, I'm telling you, he either got seriously loose or there was some serious net code right there. As you can see, I mean, yeah, it had to be some net code right there, but that is some serious net code. I thought he got loose right there, but huge contact right there for the 76.
I agree with you. A little bit of ghost contact. I will say, though, I've called out this 77 truck a couple times because, yeah, I agree that it was net code contact, but the 77 went from the bottom lane to the middle lane in the tri-oval. You can see here he's having trouble holding his lane, and I think that's why the contact was really made.
Absolutely, and that's something that a lot of these other drivers, if they're able to get through it and they see all of this going on, they're going to understand that 77, honestly, is a weapon out there on the racetrack, Joey. I hate to call it like it is, but, you know, you've talked about him before, and then we just saw that he's not able to hold his lane down on the bottom of the racetrack. So the 77, a weapon out here at Daytona here tonight.
Well, while we have a yellow flag, we're going to take a quick commercial break, be right back with the restart and more green flag action.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
If you're curious about any of that, I highly urge you to go to that website, and trust me, you will start dropping speed no matter what you drive out there. So yeah, go on over to the website www.MaconiSetupShop.com and see what Maconi can do for you. Well, looks like we've got the lights out, Jake. We've seen a relatively steady pattern of cars just like that in the background there. I think that was the number 75, causing yellow flags. You expecting to see anything different today?
I hope so. Honestly, Joey, I mean, you know, everybody that, you know, tunes in, they want to see good, hard green flag racing like we saw last week at Charlotte with the awesome finish that we had. Granted, it came down to multiple green-white checkers, but still, you know, everybody that tunes in, yes, we love to see the wrecks. We love to see that action, I guess you could say, at Daytona, but at the same time, we love to see the close quarters, hard racing at Daytona, and hopefully these guys have seen all these wrecks that have happened, that they're going to be able to tone it down just a little bit, and let's try to see if we can get to the end of this thing before we start wadding them up again.
Well, through the tri-oval we go. Stand on the gas pedal. The field is a little bit thinner right now, but we are racing one more time. Your Fast Fridays for Maconi Setup Shop, led by Jeff Maconi in the 03, being pushed by his teammate of Ryan Andrew in that low lane. Also have Hewling Kauser on the top side of the racetrack being pushed by that number 77, who's got a little bit of back end damage, but right now the front bumper is working just fine.
Working just fine and shoving Hewling Kauser all the way to the lead. He is actually clear for just a moment, but then Maconi will battle back hard on the inside. Ryan Andrew gives him a huge shot going into turn number 3. So Maconi will get the lead back, but here comes Kowser back on the top lane with help from that number 77 of John Kaya. And Joey, I'm telling you right now, but that 77, like I said earlier, talking about him being a weapon, it's got to scare some of these guys up front as they are battling really, really hard to try to get this lead.
And talking about, look at how close it's still just a little unstable there out of the number 77. And you keep talking about how he's a weapon, and I see his name. I keep wanting to call him John Cena out there, but I know that's not his name. The number 77, just, I think, really, it's not him per se. It's really the whole field out there. It's just about to boil over again with how bumpy this racetrack is and how close the trucks are racing. I think it's just a mixing pot, and there's more contact from the 77 onto Hewling Kowser. It's about to boil over again.
About to boil over, and Maconi and Andrew jump to the top to block that outside lane's advance. That stacked the whole outside lane up, so the 77 had fell off just a little bit. Kowser not too far off from there, but check it out. Brandon Edstrom trying to shove this 53 of Jamie Johnson to the front. Wow, Maconi and Andrew's going to have to really start trying to fight back very, very hard, as now the 77 of John Kay is back on the inside. Everybody bouncing around, everybody losing control as they're going through turn 3 and 4.
You see how hard Brandon Edstrom is pushing the other doppelganger name of Jamie Johnson, if you catch my drift there. That is some tough pushing on the bottom lane. And he's doing that because the top lane, it seems to carry more momentum off of the straightaway. So Edstrom getting really aggressive with the pushes down low. And I think more importantly about getting aggressive, it's when you push, you got to get lined up right off of the corner exit right there. That's when you can really start to make some ground.
Oh, definitely. And now Edstrom's going to shove it straight in the middle. Jamie Johnson down to the bottom. Maconi is going to get 3 wide with Jamie Johnson on the inside. Jamie's going to take it, and we're going to have another wreck behind these guys as the caution will come out once again.
Yellow flag on the racetrack. I think that this was actually all triggered by the 39 of Brandon Evans, unfortunately. I think Brandon was right in the middle of a 3-wide situation, and he actually got help from the number 6 truck on his outside. As we go off into turn number 3 here, you're going to see him 3 wide and just the slightest bit of front left fender contact from the number 6 onto the right rear of the 39. And sends him up into the wall. And even then, Jake, I know that here in iRacing, sometimes when you have that rubbing sort of contact, it seems like the trucks get attached to each other and you can't get them peeled away.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what it was, honestly. From what it looked like, I mean, Evans may have came up a little bit, the 6 may have came down just a little bit, but it's like you said, once they get just that little bit attached, that little bit of rubbing like you was talking about, it's very, very hard to have them break apart. I mean, Evans, you know, even if he tried to jerk the wheel all the way hard left to try to get away from him, he was still stuck there. You know, I've had that happen to me numerous times at Daytona, Talladega, or even at Kansas, or what have you. It's just a product of this racing. And, you know, some people may call that a little bit of net code, internet, I guess, interference, I guess you could say. But, you know, it's just what happens with this types of racing. And it's unfortunate to see that. And it took out a lot of guys right there, so a lot of guys are going to have to use some fast repairs.
Actually, we're going to see those fast repairs being used like you were saying, and then also have actually the majority of the field coming down pit road right now, getting some pit stop cycles done and completed. I'm seeing a handful of cars stay out on the racetrack, but given that we're at lap number 22 of 50 and under yellow flag, I think this is kind of right in that fuel window of, if you pit right now, you can probably make it to the end, especially since this has been a yellow flag filled race. I expect we're going to get more fuel save in the form of these yellow flags, these long off-throttle laps.
Absolutely, and that's basically what they really want. Obviously, you know, to try to make it the best they can, because this right here, this is track position at this point. I mean, you want to be at the front, not be back here in all this wrecking chaos, everything that's been happening back here. So obviously you want to be able to save fuel, and what happens when you try to save fuel? You're going to stay out, so everybody else is going to pit. You want to try to cycle yourself to the front. So that's exactly what you're going to see a lot of these guys doing, especially with these caution laps. That's helping some of these guys save some fuel with the 77 of Kaya and Petrin now going to be right here on the front row for this restart.
Lights are out, and of the entire field, the top 4 that are on the racetrack right now, that's John Kaya, Mike Petrin, Dale Flowers, and Logan Wilson. They are all on older tires. Now, not very old, but they are on old stuff. Everybody else, Brandon Edstrom in 5th place on back, came down pit road, and we are racing one more time here at Fast Fridays as Barney waves that green flag. Mike Petrin in the number 59 off to a pretty good jump, but the number 77 of John Kaya has the help in the form of the 37 of Dale Flowers behind him. Let's see who gets paired up down this back straightaway.
Drag race down the backstretch, Petrin and Kaya. Andrew gonna shove it 3 wide. Saw a hole, was not able to make it work. But that's going to kill the inside advance. Take Mike Petrin to the front. Take the 76 of Logan Wilson right behind him. And Ryan Andrew, don't look now. Here he comes with help from his teammate, Jeffrey Maconi.
Yeah, looks like Logan Wilson thought about playing both lanes there, but look at the drive off of turn 4 through the tri-oval. Ryan Andrew to the point with the help from the boss man of Jeff Maconi there. And the 2 cars were clear. Is the 74 clear? I didn't think so, but he slid up in front of Mike Petrin anyways. I didn't think you could fit a truck there.
And Petrin used a lot of respect right there, because that was very, very tight right there, Joey. So, you know, I'm sure that 74 of Edstrom is going to understand that, know right there that could have been really, really catastrophic for the whole field. And now he's going to think twice about it. He's going to go to the top, see if he can drag Petrin with him. Maybe not, as it looks like Edstrom is going to be up top all by himself. No help to his advantage, as Ryan Andrews still leads with Jeff Maconi right behind him. Edstrom still sitting in 3rd with Petrin and Flowers, the top 5.
I feel like in Edstrom's position, you can at least kind of hang tough on the outside with this bumpy track and utilize the side draft, but if you get hung out there for more than 1 lap, I would say that you're looking in trouble, and thankfully, he has some extreme momentum right now. Look at the 76. Logan Wilson, this entire top lane just pushes Brandon Edstrom to the front, courtesy even from Brandon Evans riding on board right here. Brandon was involved in one of those wrecks and loose off of 4, but he finds himself back inside the top 10 in this front group, and you look at how stacked up it can get. They don't have great vision with these big, huge, tall spoilers directly in front of them on the back end of the trucks, and you got to be really heads up with that throttle.
Absolutely, got to be really heads up, because you don't know exactly what's going to be going on in front of you, especially with all this beating and banging. But right now, Ryan Andrews still got the lead. Jeff Maconi still sitting in that 2nd spot, side by side, still battling right now with Edstrom and Mike Petrin. Logan Wilson up there up top, maybe trying to see if he can make it 3 wide, but nobody went with him. So Ryan Andrews still trying to block 2 lanes right here, as Edstrom's going to make a shot to the outside, as we got some contact coming off of turn number 4. Mike Petrin slid up into the truck up atop of him, but battle for the lead as Ryan Andrew and Brandon Edstrom battling it out here at Daytona.
And the 77 was way below the yellow line there. I'm curious if he's got anything going on. I don't see any black flags. He's back on the racetrack, and that was all caused from that lap truck right there. He's just kind of out of place, and it's not like he's doing anything wrong, but kind of causes a little bit of a cork within the bottle. The rest of the field has to figure out a way around him.
Absolutely, and you know, and courtesy would be here, especially here at Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, is that if you're off the pace or if you are a lap truck fixing to go a lap down, courtesy would be to go below the yellow line and get off of the racing surface, let everybody go. But some people want to just try to hang it straight up top and just let everybody go on the inside, as you're going to see right here. Joey Masevich, he's off the pace as everybody's going to go by him, so Masevich keeps it up top. But courtesy would be to go all the way below the yellow line, stay completely out of the racing surface. But I mean, that's how some drivers play that strategy right there, Joey, as we see right here. Ryan Andrew, they hang out Edstrom going straight to the back. Ryan Andrew trying to go for the lead in turn 3.
The 33 chopped the 37 of Dale Flowers going into turn number 3. And here we go, another lapped car. He's going to go all the way to the top side of the racetrack, but they're going to deal with them through the tri-oval. At least the majority of the pack is. Looks like they're going to be able to navigate that one relatively calmly and safely, as just a few moments of 3 wide. But if you are a competitor right now and you're curious about the speed that Maconi Setup Shop can bring, look no further than the top side of the racetrack. You got Ryan Andrew lined up with Jeff Maconi and Brandon Evans, and look at the organization here. This is teamwork at its finest as they power that lane to the front.
Running the Dale Jr. line, as I like to call it right here, Joey. On the outside lane, Dale Jr. made that line very, very famous here at Daytona. And Ryan Andrew making it look just like the 88, which matches Dale Jr.'s car number when he was racing. Ryan Andrew, Jeff
77,
Maconi,
another wreck.
and a big pileup in the trial, boys. I just mentioned that. Big pileup.
Goodness, this kicks off, I believe, the 77 again, trying to make it 3 wide again in the tri-oval. And I believe the 93 as well kind of comes down the track just a little bit of Brandon Mechieski, who you're seeing right here, going full Ricky Bobby in reverse. Maybe he's got the 4 forward gears broken. But another big one, Jake.
Another big one, and yes, you called it right here, 77. Stuck 3 wide, as you're going to see right here on the screen, trying to follow Mike Petrin on this bottom lane. And then we're going to see him right here. He finally just says, you know what? I got some guys behind me. I'm going to see if I can try to jump up into this middle lane. And then here he comes, just comes down, gets into the 59, and bam, everybody just goes straight into the fence. Not real sure if he thought, you know, he was clear to try to jump back down in behind the 59, or if he just lost it right there in the trial. But, you know, I mean, Joey, you know, we hate to call him out once again, but, you know, the 77 being the weapon out here, causing another wreck here at Daytona.
And the tri-oval is tricky. I mentioned it earlier. Going into 1 and 2, 3 and 4, you're kind of used to the turn-in, used to the truck getting loaded up in the banking. But when you come through the tri-oval, it's much more of a sweeping, arcing corner that doesn't have near the amount of banking, only about 18 degrees in the banking compared to 31 in the corners. So you have much less grip from the banking. You have a different turn-in point, a different radius through there, and oftentimes it just catches people out, especially when they're 3 wide through there. Just different reference points, and oftentimes you see wrecks such as that.
Big wrecks, just like what we just saw, and that's going to take out a number of competitors. One of those being Anthony Carter. I believe he was one of them that got caught up in that. You mentioned just a second ago with the 93 of Brandon Mesowicki, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but Mike Machieski, there you go. And then also, you know, just a bunch of guys getting caught up in an accident right there. And Joey, you know, we talk about it, you know, this is Daytona, this stuff happens right here, and this is what drives people crazy, is getting caught up in accidents that, I mean, you had nothing to do with. You were just along for the ride.
Sometimes it's paying the super speedway tax. And when you have all of these trucks out here doing, 190 miles an hour per se, I haven't even looked at the top speed really, but once they get going in the draft, it's incredible the speed that they're going. And then you combine that being literally inches apart from each other. Throw the giant old rutted Chicago street circuit surface onto Daytona. And this is kind of the product that you get, is just a little bit of a yellow-filled race. And you combine that with race car drivers who, quite honestly, they never listen. So they're going to go out there and go as fast as they can all the time, whenever they can. And oftentimes it provides us some excitement. Sometimes it's a little bit of a slower race. But one thing's for sure, with the lights out, we will be going back to green flag racing. So we should have some more of that excitement.
Yes, we should. And with 19 laps to go, we know that pretty much everything is just going to get thrown out there. Like you said, these guys ain't listening to nothing. I mean, they're going to go full board, all out. So it's going to get even more exciting as this race dwindles down, Joey.
Well, if you are a fan of motors, turn the volume up. We are back to green flag racing. And just like that, we have Maconi Setup Shop cars in the lead and also helping push in that top lane, trying to move them all to the front. Jeff Maconi goes down to the low lane to help out his buddy Ryan Andrew. Kind of leaves Brandon Evans out to dry in the back of the pack there, but MSS trucks up front.
And it looks like Brandon Evans really wanting to try to get back up there with his teammates. Is going to shove Ryan Fisher on the outside lane. Really nowhere else for him to go, so that's all that he can do. But you see these guys, Jamie Johnson, really, really loose going into turn number 3 as everybody's going to get stacked up right here off of turn number 4. Really, really tight corner for these guys to be coming off of the corners with. But up front, Ryan Andrews still got it. Maconi still trying to shove him as Fisher actually battled there for a second trying to get the lead. As it looks like Brandon Evans back here still trying to push Fisher, maybe trying to jump back down. 3 wide back deeper in the field, but a lot of hard racing. But up front, Andrews still leading with Maconi right behind him.
Ooh, and I don't know if you saw that, but the number 5 keeps blinking, and he literally blinked on my screen from the bottom lane to the top lane. So that was a little bit sketchy to see, especially if you're Brandon Evans and all of a sudden having a car appear right in front of you. I wanted to give credit to the number 4 of Ryan Fisher. He was the one up there leading the charge on the top lane. Now he's 4th in line in the bottom, but that truck of Ryan Fisher, that number 4, started way back in the 21st spot. There's a lot of big-time movers at the front of this field, but Ryan Fisher, we haven't talked a whole lot about, and Joey Masevich gets turned from the number 76. We have another yellow flag.
And a big pile of a lot of these guys getting caught up in all of this going on. Masevich actually was 2 laps down when all of that happened right there. Now Masevich looks like he's going to pull the Ricky Bobby, I guess you could say, way, trying to get back around to the pits. But big stack up right there in turn number 1. Big pile of a lot of guys getting caught up in this one too right here, Joey.
This is, I mean, I know we're starting to run out of laps here, and I expected to see more of the 3-wide racing to happen more here in 15 laps to go. So I have to be a little bit more patient with this one. And Macevich, I don't think was trying to do anything here. You're just going to see the 76 try to make it 3-wide into turn number 1. Ultimately, get in the left rear.
Yeah, and then everybody right behind them just getting piled up. A lot of these guys just piling straight in. Nowhere really for them to go. Granted, you know, this is wide enough to go 3 wide, but this is not as wide as as Talladega or even iRacing Super Speedway, the other plate racing super speedway type track that you see on here. But you see Hulian Kaiser almost sneak through that bad boy. Ultimately gets gobbled up into it. A lot of drivers get caught up in this as well. Big wreck right here, but check it out, Joey. Check out that clock. The clock's starting to tick all the way down right here. It might be coming down to a time race besides having a lap race right here.
Yeah, and you know, watching from that last point of view, that's really tough to watch because you see Macevich literally following the lane, following the draft group in front of him. And then I know that the rest of the competitors back here, that they see Macevich a couple laps down, so they might be a little bit more eager to get around him, but can't really drive through the car, especially when he is following, doing everything right, just kind of staying in the draft group. A little unfortunate to see another wreck on the racetrack, but we're going to be going back green flag racing here soon enough. And I would say that if there's been some stalwarts at the front of the field, look no further than the 03 of Jeff Maconi. I know he is the boss man. He likes to pay out the big checks whenever we have these awesome giveaway races, but he's been at the front really the entire time.
And not only that, started mid-pack, 17th all the way up to 3rd. So, you know, good run by the boss man, Jeff Maconi, knowing how to get it done. I mean, granted, you know, his name is on all of this stuff, but it's not there, I mean, it's there for a reason, Joey, because he knows what he is doing in any type of vehicle that he gets in. So good man, you know, good run right there for Jeffrey Maconi being right there. And Brandon Evans' teammate, check him out, 27th all the way up to 4th. Some of these other guys, Jamie Johnson, 26th all the way up to 5th. Jacob Cannon, he's going to be on the outside front row, started 20th all the way up to 2nd right now. So big time movers by some of these guys. Even Fisher, Ryan Fisher, we talked about him in the Ford truck, started 21st all the way up to 7th. So a lot of these guys, time movers in the field right here coming down to crunch time. They got something right here for the end of this race.
You know, maybe something that we have to talk to Jeff about. Maybe if we get a Fast Friday winner or a hard charger or a pole position, maybe there might be a subscription dangled out there after one of these. We'll have to talk to Jeff Maconi, see if he's willing to do something like that as we get a green flag. Fast Friday here, 12 laps to go. Which is it gonna be, laps or the time? If we stay green flag racing here, we should get the laps, and it's up to Jacob Cannon on the top side. He's got the help in the form of Ryan Andrew. Ooh, look at the blink though. You gotta be really careful about that. And Brandon Evans gonna go 3 wide, leave him right in the middle.
And Brandon Evans saw that blink just like you said, Joey, wanted nothing of it, goes straight to the outside, hangs him straight out to dry. Now you got 3 Maconi Setup Shop trucks up front with the likes of Ryan Andrew, Jeffrey Maconi, and Brandon Evans up top trying to get that help from Brandon Edstorm. The 2 Brandons up top. Let's go Brandon on that outside lane.
Trying to get through some lap traffic just out of the tri-oval. The majority of the field is going to catch him here into turn number 1. See if we're able to navigate cleanly. Yes, a little bit of a squeeze through the wall for Todd Robbins, but for the most part, we are still racing. It is Brandon Evans in the 39 with a huge push from Edstrom. I wonder if he's going to go down low. No, he's going to stay committed to the top lane. He's going to stay committed to Brandon, who pushed him there.
Two Brandons trying to run away right here, try to battle off these two Maconi Setup Shop trucks with Andrew Maconi down on the bottom lane. Really rolling pretty good, but that top lane able to get the run off of the corners, get something going on the top. Now, out of nowhere, here comes the 25 truck. I believe that's who it is. Sticks it straight in the middle, 3 wide. Gets right in between Dale Flowers. That's Paul Hill right smack dab in the middle of all of this. He's going to bring Fisher right with him. But up front, Evans trying to hang on with all the shoving from Edstrom. Evans going to go all the way to the top, just get completely out of the way. Now Edstrom's going to go shooting straight past him. He's going to try to challenge Ryan Andrew for the lead.
I tell you what, thank you, Brandon Evans, because you just saved another yellow flag from coming out. He had a huge push from Edstrom, who's now battling for the lead. He got way out of shape, and how he saved that truck, I have no idea. He is that good, and looks like Edstrom is going to lead that lap, but here comes Ryan Andrew with Jeff Maconi. Jeff's trying to stay hooked up to the back bumper of the truck, but really the 25 of Paul Hill, you were calling him out for going up through the middle. He's got some great organization, providing some fantastic pushing to the number 74 right in front of him.
Absolutely, and this is one of those things right here with these trucks pushing here at Daytona. Is completely different than it would be, say, an Xfinity car or a Class A Cup car. That's exactly what it is we got a lap car right here on the bottom. They're able to sneak around him, but the pushes in these particular trucks, is very, very fragile. You got to be lined up, like you said, Joey, be dead on the money pushing these guys. If you're not, you can easily turn somebody and cause another wreck, and hopefully we do not see that again. But some of these guys up front making some great, great pushes, and they're hitting it right on the money, hitting them dead square. That's exactly what they need to be doing.
Oh, Jeff Maconi, oh, he loses it. He's trying to save it. What a save. I thought we were going to have another yellow flag. Oh, my goodness. Jeff, you're going to make me have heart failure over here. I thought he was going to cause another wreck with this lane change here. Jake, watch this. He goes from the bottom side to the top side, coming off of turn 2 because he's got a head of steam, and whoop, just barely holds on to it.
Yeah, he tried to get up there, tried to see if he could make it work, and then he just slid up just a little bit. I guess you could say a little bit too late, I guess you could say, because the 22 was there, bam, hit him right square in the back end, knocked him sideways. Great saving, great maneuvering from everybody else, being able to get clear of that and whoa up and not get caught up in that and cause another caution. So great driving, not only by Jeffrey Maconi, but by everybody right there in the field. Great self-awareness by everybody.
Well, we got a yellow flag on the racetrack. It looks like maybe Dale Flowers here. And the number 37 truck is turned around on the back straightaway. Have to see exactly what happened back here to Dale. I think it was actually the couple of trucks right in front of Dale that caused this. I'm looking at the number 69 and the number 5. The number 69 truck right in front of Dale here. It's going to get turned by the number 5 on the back straightaway, and then you see Dale, just kind of an innocent bystander, involved in this one.
And it's like I said earlier, Joey, I mean, you hate to be innocent bystanders in people's mishaps, but that's the exact case right there, I guess you could say, for Dale Flowers. Hate it for him. Hopefully he's still got a fast repair still in his reserve, I guess you could say, because with all the wrecks that we've had, I'll be honest with you, at this point, Joey, we don't know who's got a fast repair at this point, because, you know, there's just been so many wrecks and so many people's been caught up in accidents. But you see it right there. I mean, the 69 looked like he may have tried to jump up in front of the 5. 5 may have tried to come down behind him, what have you, but hooks him straight in the fence. Dale Flowers nowhere to go. Goes straight into the inside wall. So it's going to lead us down to a late race restart, and this is when crunch time really picks up right here.
That view right there showed it the best. Just a little bit of miscommunication. I don't think that Jacob Cannon meant to turn that car at all. You see, just they had a good run going down the back straightaway, and then car moved up, but Jacob Cannon didn't know that he was making that lane change, and unfortunately resulted in a few cars in the wall. And I know that we are at 9 minutes, just under 9 minutes remaining, but we're also on lap 45 here, lap 46, I'm sorry, of 50. So with the lights out on the pace car, we should get back to finish this one at a checkered flag, not at a time limit.
Absolutely, and this actually may have been the caution that Jeffrey Maconi needed, because we saw that crazy save that he was able to make off of turn number 2. Almost completely wiped the whole truck out. Now he's back in this. Now everybody gets jumbled back up. He actually lost the draft when all of that happened. So now he's back in this race right here. Got his teammate up there, Ryan Andrews, still leading this thing. Brandon Evans right up there in that 5th spot. So he's got some teammates up here that he can definitely work with and try to help out. And they can all try to get filed up. But here's the trick. You got 5 laps. It'll be 4 when they come to the line, take the green flag. So don't count out that 0-3 of Jeffrey Maconi. We've seen him up front, seen what he can do. He's still got a shot at this thing.
I'm looking at the number 88 of Ryan Andrew. Despite what has been thrown at the front of this field between the variety of different leaders we've had, the number 88 seems to be the consistent player up there. He's also got a completely clean truck, at least from what I can see. So you combine those two things together. The driver's got speed. The truck has speed because it's clean. He's familiar being up at the front of the field. That's my pick for the end of this race. However, watch out for these other curveballs that you see, including the truck that's coming in from the back with the head of steam, as we get green flag racing one more time. 4 laps to go, Jake, as you were calling it. It's Ryan Andrew being pushed by Brandon Edstrom, and also Brandon Evans in the 39 lined up in that low lane.
That 3rd Maconi Setup Shop truck right there on that inside lane, trying to get shoving on that bottom lane. Got Ryan Andrew with the 2 Brandons right behind him. Outside lane, trying to see if they can muster something up. Paul Hill, the guy that came out of absolutely nowhere, and now he's up front trying to see if he can challenge for this lead. Paul Hill on the outside lane of Edstrom, and he's trying to get some help from Ryan Fisher, but all that's going on is Ryan Andrews still leads, coming back 3 laps to go.
Here we go, the 25 of Paul Hill on the outside. Ryan Andrew down low on the inside. 3 laps to go at Daytona. The number 39 of Brandon Evans just trying to pick which lane he wants to go with. Give a little bit of space going into turn 1. Gonna have to deal with a lap truck all the way up top here. Looks like the field is able to navigate it. That 0-3 of Jeff Maconi trying to poke it 3 wide a little bit further back, but here comes that top lane momentum down the straightaway. Paul Hill really using that push in the form of Ryan Fisher, but looks like the low lane now with 3 trucks is able to muscle back.
Absolutely, and now he's going to get hooked straight into the fences. We're going to get another caution on the speedway. That's going to lead us to a green-white checkered. Very unfortunate to see that. That was just real tight racing as they were going into turn number 3. You're going to see it right here on your screen right here, Joey, and everybody at home. I mean, Paul Hill was just really, really tight down on his door, trying to side draft, I guess you could say. Brandon Edstrom try to pull him back, and then Edstrom looks like he may slide up just a little bit. Both of them just met basically right there in the middle, and then chaos ensues. Everybody trying to see if they can sneak through it the best that they can.
Had a lot of yellow flags here at this race, and this one coming to the checkered flag. Get the viewpoint from Jeff Maconi as the 2 trucks get up top. Jeff works his way through that one. Can't really fault him for getting into the bumper of the car right in front of him. Sometimes you have to stay on the gas to get through the wreck. Sometimes you have to get on the brakes to avoid the wreck, and that was just a case when it's happening right in front of you. Kind of have to make a split-second decision, and that's how we get through. And wondering here, you see the timer, we got 4 minutes remaining. We got the pace car lights on. We'll have a green-white checker here on this, but with the time remaining, we're going to have to get going on this green-white checker here this time, I believe.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to have to get going pretty quick because, you know, nobody really wants it to end on a timer, Joey. Everybody wants to try to go ahead and get this bad boy finished with, you know, green flag conditions, all that good stuff. Everybody wants to get that done, not have to deal with a timer. So looks like they're going to get it lined up right here. Everybody going to get double file. So we're going to get green-white checkered attempt number 1 with Ryan Andrew up on the front row with his teammate, Brandon Evans. This is another guy that we talked about, Joey, but we neglected to pick him. You picked Andrew. I picked Maconi. Brandon Evans, the one stuck right smack dab in the middle, running right here on the front row with Fisher, Carter, and Jacob Cannon in the top 5.
Now, I know on the screen it says green-white checkered attempt number 1. This is the first attempt. However, it will be the only attempt that the drivers have today, and that's simply because of how many yellow flags we've had. We are running out of time here at Daytona, and while the sunlight isn't necessarily a factor, I know that it was a little bit goofy. Jake, wasn't there a session up with no lights earlier, and it was a little bit dark?
Yeah, there was. I mean, they actually had to reset this because this track, believe it or not, even though it shows, as you can see, the light poles out here on the track, you know, this track is not able to produce a night race, and that's how that this track was made in iRacing before. So, you know, with the new Daytona, you're able to do it at night. This track wasn't able to do it at night, so they had to actually make a complete different session to get this bad boy going here today, or excuse me, here tonight. So yeah, I mean, we went through a lot of hurdles, I guess you could say, for tonight, but I think we're in for one hell of a finish right here.
Well, it's all going to come down to this: a green-white checkered finish to settle a Fast Friday checkered flag. 2 laps remaining. Green flag on the racetrack. Who is going to win this one? Ryan Andrew on the bottom lane, Brandon Evans on the top lane, the number 4 of Ryan Fisher, the form of the pusher on the bottom, and Anthony Carter in the 26 pushing up top.
And don't count out Maconi right back there sitting in 6th back here pushing Anthony Carter. But right now, Andrew gonna see if he can jump up. He's gonna see if he can jump up and try to help his teammate. He's gonna almost get turned. Evans all by himself, as we're gonna have another caution on the speedway. Everybody getting stacked up in the back. And it looks like, from what timing and scoring is showing, Ryan Fisher is gonna be up front. It looks like he may be the winner of this race.
Have to see as it all cycles out, but I believe you have called that correct. Haven't seen anything else pop up on the screen, and here on iRacing, I know that the winner does have to, in fact, take the checkered flag. So 1 lap remaining here, because we're going to get the timer coming down to 0, and we will have a winner of Ryan Fisher, as long as he really doesn't get turned by Jacob Cannon here on the cool down lap here. I'm wondering, Ryan, or Jake, are we getting the checkered flag here? It seems like all of the trucks are slowing down in the case of the pace truck, having to wait for the pace truck, but we should be getting the checkered flag.
I believe we will probably get it right here this time by. As you see, the timer has ticked down. The timer is at 0, so looks like we're actually going to get it right here with 3 to go from what it's showing. So we may actually get another restart right here, Joey.
I'm going to be curious to see how they score this one. See the 93 of Brandon Mechewski coming up and giving him a little bit of a rub there, usually a little bit of a celebratory victory rub. Either that or there might be a little bit of bad blood from earlier in the race. I don't know, but I like to think of it as a celebratory deal. Looks like we're going to be getting the checkered flag here from Barney. Still waving. the yellow flag here, and we have officially run out of time. However, we are getting the checkered flag now. The race has officially ended from what I see. Our winner is going to be the number 4 of Ryan Fisher under that yellow flag.
That's a big, big deal right there for Fisher. We talked about him earlier, coming from 21st all the way up to the first spot. But Joey, these guys are sitting there looking like they're still getting double foul. I mean, is there something that I'm not aware of here? I mean, these guys actually look like they're fixing to go again.
That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out here. I saw the timer run out to 0. It's going to run out to 0 again before we get to start finish here. And I know that on Fast Friday it is a 60-minute race or 50 laps, and yeah, you're right. It looks like they're lining up to go another GWC.
That will really throw a curveball in all this, and if they are getting ready to line up and go again, Ryan Fisher is sitting there saying, my gosh, why was I not able to get this bad boy, get it done, and get the win? But everybody still looks like they're lining up. Double foul right here, Joey. I'm curious. I've never seen anything like this right here, Joey.
I haven't either, and I mean, we keep getting the checkered flag on our feed because the timer keeps running out. So iRacing is trying to tell us that the timer is out. However, looks like the pace car is going to be coming off. We're going to be going back to green flag racing. Ryan Fisher in the number 4 is going to be leading us back to another green-white checkered.
And Fisher's going to have to try to fight him off one more time. Brandon Evans right behind him. Jacob Cannon right behind them as well. Check out Nick Hicks out of nowhere, 30th all the way up to 4th. Haven't talked about him this whole time, but out of nowhere, this might be the saving grace, I guess you could say, for Jeffrey Maconi, as here he comes up on the top lane with all the help he can get from Ryan Andrew. They're going to try to see if they can battle it all the way to the front and try to take the lead.
Jeff Maconi all the way up on that top groove in the number 033, wide behind him with Evans stuck in the middle. It's Ryan Fisher down low coming up off of turn number 4. Hewling-Kauser, little bit of door rubbing. Looks like we officially have a white flag, 1 lap to go at Fast Friday.
Fisher still got it up in the wind right now, trying to see if he can pull it home and get this win tonight here at Fast Fridays here at Daytona. Jacob Cannon right behind him. Nick Hicks, haven't talked about him the whole race, as we've got everybody getting loose. It's almost spinning coming off of turn number 2. 3 truck breakaway is Fisher, Cannon, and Nick and Hicks all up front.
Yeah, and it looks like it is going to stay Ryan Fisher up front. As long as he's able to hang on here, I think it's Jacob Cannon right behind him, but coming up off of turn number 4, gonna see Cannon try to go to his outside, gonna try to side draft up alongside. The 22 is gonna come up and push him, and it will be Ryan Fisher, our winner here at Fast Fridays with a big demo derby. The end of it here, unfortunately, we are not going to get a celebratory victory burnout, but we can give you the official results very quickly here as Ryan Fisher did cross the finish line in first place. Brandon Evans is going to be scored second. Jacob Cannon third place. Nick Hicks in fourth. Jeff Maconi in fifth. Hewling-Kauser sixth. Ryan Andrew in seventh. Anthony Carter eighth. Brandon Maciejewski comes back with a ninth place finish. And Jamie Johnson finishing out in the top 10. There are several more competitors here that competed tonight, but unfortunately a few of them turned up a lap down. And we want to thank tonight's sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Competizone. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Jake Reeves in the booth and Ryan Bauer producing. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching tonight's racing action, and hope you will stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next Fast Fridays race. Don't run off too far. Starting here in just a couple minutes on the same channel is the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix series. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you at the checkered flag.